What's going on, y'all? My name is Warren Fernandez, and I decided to do my Genius Hour project on the Adaptive Fashion Series. So, I'm majoring in health science with a concentration of occupational therapy here at Stockton, and throughout the semester here, in this sustainable fashion course, which I love, by the way. Shout out to Mary Jane Murphy Brown. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something that kind of mixes in my love for fashion and style with my future career and some of the aspects of occupational therapy. So basically, in this video, I just wanted to kind of break down the process of making my project in terms of the Adaptive Fashion TikTok series and just kind of the traction I was able to make from it, some of the aftermaths, and just all the details that kind of went into like the whole like project in general. So without further ado, enough talk. Let's go ahead and let's get into this presentation, sir. So, like I just said, a lot of the inspiration with this project kind of comes from my concentration in occupational therapy here at Stockton, along with my love for fashion. I wanted to see if I could try to combine my love for fashion and style with my future career path and some of the elements that came from it. And yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. I thought it was a little bit of a challenge that I could do something that not a lot of people were probably doing in this with their project. So yeah. So I'm sure a couple of you are probably wondering, Warren, what the heck is adaptive fashion? I don't know what that is. So, adaptive fashion is basically just some type of clothes that are designed for individuals with various types of disabilities and limitations, and they are basically just like regular clothes that are modified with different types of mods and features that help with increasing independence and just really making dressing a little bit more comfortable and easier overall for them. This can include like a lot of different types of abilities, such as like those with like prosthetics, maybe someone who's just coming from surgery. I'll name some of the benefits in the next slide. So the people who benefit from a lot of adaptive clothing can include a lot of individuals with congenital, acquired, or temporary disabilities. This can include like some people who like get injuries or just like if they have like a disability that they were born with, such as maybe a deformity of some sort. This can include a lot of elderly adults of old age. When you get a little bit older, there's a lot of things that you can't really do as well as you used to. Um, a lot of elderly do use adaptive fashion to kind of make things a little easier for them. Anyone with sensory, like sensitivity, mobility, and dexterity issues, like if they have problems with like bending down, just moving around, and just a lot of like their mobility is just really off, can't really do it. That's why we got the adaptive fashion, you know what I'm saying? And I also said like other various health conditions that you could probably name. There's a couple others like that don't relate to disabilities possibly. And also post surgery, like I said, if you just got back from surgery and you're probably a little bit on the sensitive side, they all kind of coalesce with each other. Adaptive fashion really helps with just kind of making dressing just a lot more comfortable for the individual. So there were four videos that I made within the adaptive fashion TikTok series. So I started off with the introduction just to kind of get you a couple like little toes in the water. You know what I'm saying? Then I decided to go with adaptive tops, like the shirts and some of the modifications within the tops. Then I went down to the adaptive bottoms, and then we went into adaptive shoes. Get a look at this guy on top of me. So, starting with adaptive tops. So I discussed different types of modifications that came with adaptive tops and shirts. So I mainly started off with button replacements. So buttons can be a little hard for someone who might have some trouble with their hands. So I named some different button replacements such as snap buttons, Velcro, magnetic closures. For those with pacemakers, magnets might not be the best thing, but it is a good option for those who don't have them. I also named out having wider necklines and openings, along with armholes. That helps with making like putting it on like from the head a little bit easier. Along with like your body, It'll make it a little bit loose. You know what I'm saying? I like loose clothing, so you know what I'm saying. I like wider armholes. Various placement of openings. So when it comes to adaptive tops, you can have different openings besides like putting on your shirt like the normal way to kind of make it easier for them in case they have like limitations with their mobility and movement and dexterity. So you can have openings from the front and the back, sometimes in the sides. And you can use the various button replacements, like I said before. And like I said, helps with easier head and body movement. Just makes changing and dressing into shirts a lot easier, and with that, kind of helps with them with their dignity and just being more independent and putting on their clothes. And with a lot of adaptive tops comes a lot of comfort, and just it really acknowledges some of their sensitivity issues. So within the adaptive bottoms video that I made, this would be the third video, if you count the introduction. I discussed the different modifications when it came to adaptive bottoms. So, like I said, we got the button replacements again, the snap buttons, the Velcro, the magnetics. There are also different placements for zippers in case you have a prosthetic and you want to kind of make it easier to put that prosthetic on while you still got your pants. Um, this is a pretty like simple one. Elastic waistbands, who doesn't like elastic waistbands in their pants? You know what I'm saying? Back openings to make it easier to access, like to dress for those who might be in wheelchairs, so that way they don't need to stand. Having like these like open backs, like kind of like just slip it on while you're sitting down, makes it a little bit easier, a little bit of a cheat. And just, yeah, I mean, come on now. Stretchy, comfortable, and breathable fabrics, to just make it overall nice and comfy. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't love a nice pair of comfy pants? So it helps with just lower body movement in general, easier dressing, like I said, with the prosthetics. Also helps with their dignity and their independence to just put on their clothes. And yeah, just easier time changing and dressing into pants for those who may have trouble sitting, standing, or are in wheelchairs. So yeah, I also mentioned the dignity suits for those with dementia as well. So those can also help with in case they might strip. But anywho. So the final video I did, believe it or not, this is like the first clip I did. I decided to do adaptive shoes. So when it came to adaptive shoes, obviously talked with some of their modifications, such as having wider opened, just a wider opening, replacing shoelaces with stuff such as Velcro or elastic closures, or even just making them lace free and just like kind of like styled as like a slip on, just so they can avoid bending over due to like dexterity issues. And like any other like very nice comfy shoe, get some softer soles, cushion arch support, padded back collar so you don't get those little what is it, the little ankle like little bruises that you might get from like an uncomfy shoe. So adaptive shoes definitely help with foot health and circulation, promoting comfort and acknowledging sensitivity and stability and like balance issues. Of course, dignity and independence by being able to put on their shoes a little easier for their accommodation, and just, yeah, like I said, just make it easier to put on these shoes and taking them off. So yeah. So, of course, this Genius Hour project is related to the sustainable fashion course. So, of course, we got to relate to sustainable fashion, you know what I'm saying? So, I related sustainable fashion and adaptive clothing by naming how, like, a lot of brands use sustainable materials in the production of various forms of adaptive clothing. Adaptive clothing also kind of works to reduce waste by usually creating what is needed. And a lot of like the clothes are obviously like kind of tailored and customized for certain disabilities and limitations. So a lot of their like use is very vital and very significant. So that's pretty good. And I also named how like we should be aware of some of the pricings of adaptive clothing because it can be very expensive. Because of like the production of it, it's very intricate and complex in its design, and so because of that, and along with the special materials it's made of, it can be very expensive, but it's definitely essential, and it is worth it for what it's needed for. So I'm gonna kind of go ahead and get into the development of my project. So I started off by researching the different types of adaptive clothing, such as the tops, bottoms, and shoes, and that's what kind of made the basis of the amount of videos I was gonna make. I decided to research the various modifications that came with each individual adaptive like wear, and how they kind of best well for different limitations and disabilities from individuals. I looked at some different brands that specialize in adaptive clothing. along with any known like fashion brands that have an adaptive clothing line. So Tommy Hilfiger was one of the ones that did have like a nice adaptive like clothing line. So that was a good example I brought out. And I also researched how occupational therapists work with clients with the use of adaptive clothing to kind of make dressing easier, because dressing and changing clothes is a pretty vital part in occupational therapy, since it is a daily skill. Now, getting into the development of the actual TikTok series, I made the timeline for the Genius Hour project. It was an assignment, and it did help very well, even though I was kind of busy with my schedule. I am a very busy man, but we worked it out, you know what I'm saying? So I made a timeline, which involved also creating an outline and a script for the development of these 4 videos that I made. And I recorded clips and voiceovers touching on the various topics, and I did some screen recordings and screenshots within the videos that kind of showcase what some of these adaptive clothes and modifications look like, and some of the websites and just sites I used that kind of showcase some of the adaptive clothing. So I had a couple goals when it came to the adaptive fashion series. So I wanted to showcase and spread awareness of adaptive clothing in general, along with its various modifications and benefits for different individuals with disabilities and limitations. This kind of was for myself because I wanted to learn more about, along with helping others to learn more about it too. Because I feel like we don't really talk about adaptive clothing enough, and just adaptive fashion in general for individuals. You know, they deserve to have some cool style too. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was kind of like a basis of why I thought it was a good idea to make a video kind of spreading awareness of that. I wanted to elaborate on adaptive fashion in relation to sustainable fashion, of course, because, you know, sustainable fashion course, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to kind of provide some awareness of adaptive clothing and its use to help with easier dressing and for students that are going into occupational therapy. Like I said, dressing is a very vital part in daily living skills for OT and just helping individuals to kind of get back on their feet independently. So I thought this would definitely be a sort of a helpful video for someone like me who's going into occupational therapy. And this is a bit of a personal one. You know, I kind of want to get back into making fun and creative like videos like on TikTok and stuff like that. I used to make skits on YouTube and whatever, but yeah, so kind of a personal one, you know, I kind of get the creative brain flowing again, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, after the whole process of the project, I mean, there are a couple things that I probably could have done a little differently if I had a little bit more time. So I wanted to kind of research a little bit more or make some more videos on some of the other categories related to adaptive fashion. Or maybe I could have split it up a little bit better to make a couple more videos, such as like how adaptive tops can like relate to different types of shirts, like t-shirts, or like dress like button-up shirts and stuff like that. So that's kind of like an example, but no biggie. I would have loved to kind of make more time to formulate better clips and edit some of these videos a little more. I feel like I did a pretty solid job, but you know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I mean, I feel like I could have done a little bit more, but I think it's okay. This was a big one. Better preparation. The timeline definitely kind of saved my booty cheeks. I ain't gonna lie, but it helped me out to kind of keep track with my busy schedule. So that was kind of like a big problem with me. I have 4 other classes besides this one, and I work part time, and I'm also a commuter. So it was a little bit tricky, but I kind of worked it out. You know what I'm saying? I probably could have done a little bit more with that, but you know. And just really to analyze other adaptive clothing brands a little bit more, or even like see other DIY like methods that some people have done to make clothing more adaptable or adaptive. Excuse me. I did see one example. I think relating to making your pants more adaptive. I wish I kind of did a little bit more into that, but we were kind of close on time, so it's okay. No worries. And hey, look, that's it. This is the end of the project, man. So, hey, if you guys like this presentation and just my TikTok series in general based on adaptive fashion, please let me know what you guys think. And if you liked it, if you feel like I could have done something, you know, just let me know. I don't mind like all the criticism and stuff like that. But hey, I'm done. This is it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hey, have an amazing rest of the semester. I can't wait to see what other like stuff you guys did for your Genius Hour projects. And yeah, hey, have a good one, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all later. Yeets.